wanted to get comfortable when I did this video because it was on my mind while I was at work. And it just came to me. I also had my daughter write notes for me. I was like, content that I need to do today. So look, this is for my biblically inscripted people, right? So if any of you know the story of Joseph, he had 12 brothers. He was his father's favorite, which was Jacob. He was like the black sheep of the family. He was different, you know. God gave him a gift, and not only did God give him a gift, but he was a gift from God to Jacob and Jacob's wife. I'm not gonna get into the long story, but God gave him a gift of being a dreamer. He would have these dreams, and they would tell things that would happen in the future. In fact, his gift was so amazing, it ended up saving his entire family and their generations and generations and generations. They're so long. And just a brief story, his brothers was jealous of him because he would tell his father about these dreams, and they would try to knock him and belittle him like what he was dreaming about was nothing. And it really was something. And so his father loved him so much. The reason why he loved him so much is because, hold on, Jacob and Rachel had Joseph, which was his love child. Now, he loved all his children, but in particular, he loved him. And the reason why is because Jacob married two sisters. His intentions was to just marry Rachel. But Rachel, in her father's eye, she was too young. And so Rachel had a sister. And the father said, you know, Leah is the oldest. You can have her. You can't have Rachel right now. He said, now look, if you work for me for 7 years, I consider you can have her. But you got to marry the first sister first. And according to the Bible, you know, Rachel was a gorgeous woman. Body was banging. And Leah, she was just, you know, he wouldn't even, his eyes wouldn't set on her. But he said, you know what, for her, I do it. You know, I do it. So 7 years come, he's happy. I can marry Rachel now. He said, work for me another 7 years. He did it. This is how much he wanted her. He wanted her. Okay, he wanted her. He did it. He did another 7 years. That's 14 years. And so in the midst of that too, he also made their father rich. Okay, he tried to play him. And he's like, nah. So long story short, they ended up leaving, going off on their own. And Leah, the one he really didn't love that much, she had a lot of children. She had 10 sons by him and many daughters. He also was messing with the concubines and the servants. Okay, he was getting it in. Jacob he was getting it in. Busy boy, busy man. So later on in life, he ended up having a child with his true love, which is Rachel. And he loved this child because he had been wanting to have a baby with her for so long, and she could not bear children. She had an issue with bearing children. And Jacob had favor over Joseph. And Joseph was gifted. His brothers hated him. And so they hated him so much, they wanted to kill him. But they didn't want his blood on their hands. So what they do, they sold him as a slave, thinking it was going to end him, thinking it was going to be for his worst. And it actually ended up being for his good. I'm going to do a part 2. Make sure y'all stay in tune with this because we're going to be back with another story.